Welcome back, everyone, to the Window Pro podcast. I'm Duncan McRae, and today I'm interviewing Blaize Mason, who's the owner of Gents window cleaning. Two Glass Gents window cleaning in the very northern tip of Michigan. He overlooks Lake Michigan. Looks a pretty nice place there. Welcome, Blaize, to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Duncan, for having me.
Yeah. So, how did you get into the game, into the industry, and what do you like about it?
So I was 11 years old when I started first working, and I worked for a golf course, making about $2 an hour. And I was pretty rough making $2 an hour. So I went home to my dad and I said, I don't want to do this. And he said, well, you should start your own business. So I said, okay. Well, so we started brainstorming. And at the age of 12, I started window cleaning. So that's where Two Glass Gents came from. It was my dad and I doing window cleaning. So we just kind of did it as a summertime thing. We started out putting business cards in the local grocery store, the IGA we call it here, and people would call us in the summertime. And then we've started from there. And then by 16, I got my first employee, which was my cousin. So we started there, and then things just took off from there.
Wow. I've talked to 16-year-olds starting, but not 12. I think you've
Yeah.
got the record. That's pretty amazing. So, did you only, at that early stage, were you focused only on traditional window cleaning method?
Yeah, so we did. We only did, I mean, we were archaic, right? So we would just straight pull every single window we did. That's we taught ourselves how to do it before it was before YouTube and all the social media of teaching you how to do things. And then I met my wife, and actually her dad taught me how to do, the swirl or the rainbow, the snake, whatever you want to call it. So then we started that, and that was when I was probably like 16, 17.
Wow.
So
So, how far along into your business before you introduced water-fed cleaning?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
How long into your business life was it before you introduced water-fed window cleaning?
So we tried, I bet you it was probably when I was about 17 or 18. So this is 20 years ago. And it was when the Tucker pole originally came
Yeah.
out. I don't know if you remember that. And it was that big, huge, was aluminum piece of metal, and it was heavy. And you had to cinch down everything by hand, and it was just archaic. And they had the little soap dispenser that one tube came in with the soap, and one you ran the resin through. We tried it for a little while. I think it was like $1,500 when we first purchased the whole system, because we thought, hey, this is going to be cool if we can do windows this way. But really, it really didn't work. That system was kind of a bust. But then fast forward, probably it would be about 10 years ago, we purchased another window cleaning company, and we thought, man, to keep up with the work, we really have to produce a lot of produce a lot of windows here. We've got to do a lot of windows to keep up with the amount of work that we're going to have. So we got back into it. We tried the RO systems, the DI systems, and we loved it. So that was probably about 10 years ago when we tried it and actually stuck with it.
Yes. So, what's the quality of water that you're purifying? So, for example, here in Brisbane, the TDS reading of the water coming out of a tap at a customer's home will be 250 parts per million. Down in the
Yeah.
southern part of Australia, it can be 30. What's it like in your part of Michigan?
So obviously, in Michigan, we have tons and tons of water, and there's lots of natural wells here. And everybody, when we go to different people's homes, they have wells at their homes. So it's not really regulated like the city is.
Mm.
But we jump all over the place. We can go to one house and it'll be 100 parts per million, and we've seen it as high as like 900 parts per million. So it's pretty crazy.
So obviously the RO system is essential.
Essential. Yeah. When we first started out, we were just trying the DI because we wanted a cheaper way to do it to get into the process.
Yeah.
But then we found out that we were burning through the resin like crazy.
Yes, absolutely. So, what prompted you, before we get to that, what do you enjoy about the industry?
I enjoy the simplicity of the industry. I enjoy meeting customers, talking with them, seeing where people are from, getting to know them, and then I enjoy growing the business too. So we now have 31 employees, and it's a lot of fun, trying to do that, and how we just organize everybody and get everybody going in the morning. It's a nice thing that we have going.
Yeah. So, I guess with 31, you're not on the tools anymore.
Funny story. So I'm not supposed to be, but there is always that customer that you really love, or a property manager that you're just trying to keep happy. So I end up going on the tools quite often. Not every day, but at least a couple times a week, where we're trying to get the crews caught up and everything, because
Yeah.
we do from anywhere from oh boy, about 18 to 22 homes a day right now, and the summertime is busy, so we're just trying to keep up with that work.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. So, you've got 31 employees. When you are hiring someone for the first time,
Mhm.
what are you looking for in a potential employee so that your business continues to grow?
So basically, we're looking for, right off the bat, we kind of view a person, their appearance, the way they look, the way they present themselves, right out of the gates of the interview. We've had everybody from coming in pajamas to an interview, to wearing, a suit and tie. So first impressions are a lot, and but they don't mean everything either. Um, well, we just hired a guy the other day, and he didn't look the best at the interview, I'd say that. But come to find out, his background was a line cook, and line cooks here in the States, they kind of wear whatever they want. So his perception was just I could wear whatever I wanted to in an interview, and he turned out great. He's a hard worker, and he's amazing. So we really just look for people that have a lot of drive. If we can read that right out of the gates, people who drive and that want to work hard.
Yes. I did come across a very interesting interview. I forget whose podcast it was, but he was talking about when you're hiring people that you're always planning ahead for the potential hire. You may not be hiring them today, but you're interviewing them for the future. But he goes about it where he gets a few prospective employees together and they interview him as to
Interesting.
why they should work, and they do all the interviewing, and it helps him to see who's got the interaction between people with a view to he's going to interact with customers. How does he communicate? Interesting angle. I
I
hadn't thought about that. So
I like that.
you've got some experience in that. So what software then do you obviously need to organise 31 employees?
So we just switched over this year to a new program called House Call Pro.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if
Yeah.
you've heard of
That's
that
the
one
one Luke, the
before.
window cleaner, uses.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a great system. It's not cheap by any means, but it does everything we need it to. Organizes jobs by region, keeps track of all the services we provide. You can pay on your phone, all those kind of things. So, real nice system.
Well, that's a pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Does it have apps for that the employee can use to organise their day?
Definitely. Yeah. So everybody can see, on their phone, they clock in on their phone when they get to the shop. They can see where they're scheduled, who they're scheduled with, their jobs. Real cool features, like they can send text messages, say I'm on the way. They start the job when they're there. That way we can keep track of all the time with the jobs. It helps us for future, scheduling,
That's right.
and they can do all the charges right there on the phone. Real nice.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So with 31 employees and your own family situation, how do you set a boundary between life and business?
Yeah. Well, probably don't do podcasts at 7:30 at night on a
Okay.
Monday, but yeah. No, no, no. Boundaries are very, very important with running a business, right? Um, Basically, putting into people's minds that yes, I'm the business owner, but I'm not accessible at all times. We have an operations manager, and he covers all the employees' questions, scheduling, that kind of thing. So, uh, if 31 people were trying to contact me with all their questions, it'd be a mess. But everybody, you just have to train everybody. You just have to be real upfront and say, hey, unless it's an emergency, you don't call me. And the crew leaders and the management staff, they know not to call me too after 5 o'clock unless it's an absolute emergency, which
Yeah,
we're window cleaning here, right? So what's a
that's right.
window cleaning emergency?
That's right. Yes, it's not a life or death matter.
Not at
If,
all.
if someone left some streaks yesterday, call us tomorrow. We'll get it tidied up. But
That's right. They'll
that's
still be there,
that's
right?
so we're not. Yeah, it's sometimes a challenge. I think for those who are one man or two man shows when they get a text message on a Saturday evening. Hi, I saw your
Yeah,
ad. I need a quote, and you think, oh, do I wait till Monday or do I respond now? Well, there's the boundary broken if you respond now. You know,
yeah,
it's most people are good with that. If you sorry, we don't work weekends. Sorry, didn't get back to you before today. Today's Monday, and people are pretty good. It's but we've got to be convinced with ourselves that I'm comfortable in those boundaries and work with those.
absolutely.
So over the last last few years, how does proactivity in business, how has that benefited the growth of Two Glass Gents?
Yeah, so we're always looking to the future. We're always trying to grow the business. We're always trying to look for the next best marketing plan, the next best window cleaning tools, or whatever we can to better our efficiency. So really, we're just trying to strive the best we can to um, just keep on going. Productivity is huge with us. So yeah, you just got to keep on digging into the education with that.
Yeah. So did you say 18 to 20 homes a day is what you,
Yeah.
yeah. So you need to be proactive with that. So with those type of clients, how do you follow up late payments? You have clients who forget, who stall in payments. How do you follow up with that in a way that maintains a good relationship between you and the client?
So again, House Call Pro, that program is pretty awesome. You can set in there to remind the customers every single week. And we've just learned not to be shy about that, because people do, they'll put a window cleaning bill off. We clean windows for some pretty high end people here in northern Michigan that own many homes. So their first inclination is not to pay the window cleaning bill at their small home in northern Michigan, right? So yeah, House Call Pro, it just is great. It just, we put on that automation. So, the guys are trained when they're there. They say, hey, here's the bill. Um, if you want to pay it right now with a credit card, you can tap to pay. Or if they're not there, they automatically send a text message and an email with the bill. And then every single week on that time, they will get another bill. So it's funny, we really don't have that many old um, invoices out because it kind of annoys people. We'll get people that'll say, well, oh, checks in the mail constantly, checks in the
Yeah.
mail, checks in the mail. So we rather get those emails than have to wait, right?
Yes, it's an interesting dynamic with people. It surprises me when I hear of window cleaners who have got so many bad debts because people aren't
Yeah.
paying. But when you drill down, they haven't really got a good system to remind people. They haven't put clear terms and conditions in the quoting process.
Right.
So, that's not discussed when we do the quote. Uh, that's an important factor because then you've got something to go back to if they are
Yeah.
delayed. So, yeah, and just being nice to people, following up is so very important. Now, one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about, Blaize, is you're living in a part of the United States that gets some brutal winters. Now, here in Brisbane, we get brutal summers, but it doesn't stop us cleaning windows. I guess your brutal winters stop you cleaning windows. So, what is the window of summertime, spring and summertime that you have? Like, when do you start? When do you finish cleaning windows in Michigan?
So believe it or not, we never stop officially cleaning windows. Even when it's snowing outside and we have 3 feet of snow, we still have the storefronts, the commercial
Sure.
companies that we need to do. We just have to pick our days, right?
Yeah.
So we put our windshield washer solvents in our solution and we go to work. But our main season that we have would be April through about the end of November is when we're washing windows.
Yeah. So, how do you keep 31 employees going from November through to April?
So that's the trick. We don't keep 31 employees going. We lay off people. We try to keep as many as we can, but we've picked up a ton of different services along the way. What we've done is we've hired individuals that can add services to our company. So we hired an individual that does a lot of snow removal, like snow plowing. We have an individual that does deck staining, which extends our season a little bit. Still can't do it in the wintertime, but it'll extend our season a little bit. We hired an individual that does duct cleaning, like the air duct cleaning in a home. We can do all winter long too. So we've picked up services strictly to keep our employees going and keep our employees busy so we don't lose them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty wild thing. I've seen on some of your socials, snow plows clearing driveways, and it's, I guess you have to live it to really understand it and appreciate it. But that's so. For someone starting out, would you recommend how early in their business journey would you recommend them adding more services to their business portfolio?
I would say if they have the knowledge, I would do it right away because that's probably our biggest regret is with not adding these services early enough.
Mhm.
So we just we've always done snow removal, but it's been like roof shoveling and deck shoveling, sidewalks, things that we can do with small machinery. If I had to start all over again, I would purchase large trucks, 3/4 ton trucks that we could plow with, and that's the only trucks we would purchase. That way we can use them in the summertime, and then in the wintertime we can plow with all those trucks. So
Yeah.
we're slowly doing that right now with our business. We operate with a Silverado, like a 1500 series for the majority. But right now, we're gonna this next winter we're gonna split our fleet, and we're gonna do half 3/4 ton trucks, and then half actually little Maverick trucks. That way, we kind of level out the fuel efficiency there. So
Yeah, absolutely. So you do window cleaning, snow plowing. You say, what are the other services that you do throughout the year?
we do gutter cleaning,
Hmm.
air duct cleaning. We do ice dam removal. So we have these two big steam machines that are run. They're awesome machines, and it's 100% steam that comes out of the nozzle. And you can set that steam nozzle right on the asphalt shingles, and it doesn't damage anything. So we literally cut channels in these big ice blocks on top of people's roofs, for those ice chunks, they back up the shingles, and then it leaks inside the house. So that service is awesome. It's a big ticket price service. It's like $350 an hour for that service, because
Yeah.
it's kind of an emergency service that they need.
Yes.
Um, so we do that. We do dryer vent cleaning, which is a great service just to add on to if you're just at a window cleaning, job, and you say, hey, your dryer vent needs to be done, and you just run a little pull through there, and it's super easy add-on service there. Trying to think what else we have here. I think that might be it.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
do you
I think
do
that's it.
solar panel cleaning?
We would if we had the solar panels to clean. Northern Michigan, we just don't have any solar panels to clean. It's crazy.
Wow. They're not environmentally fired up in your part of the world, eh?
No. We we we've got the three big auto industries, Chrysler, Ford, and GM here, so they don't care about solar power.
No, absolutely. That's very true. I forgot about that. I should have remembered having been to Detroit in the past. And yeah, it's fascinating. Like here in Australia, it's you could do solar paneling cleaning as much as you do window cleaning. People
Wow.
a little bit on the green side of things, and you've got a selling point, make them efficient, run efficiently, save money, you get them
Right.
clean. But there's a few issues that people have had, and it worries me that you're up there. Is the connection really good? You have to make
Right.
sure you've got your carbon fiber pole. Just you don't want to eat, and they get lichen on it, so you've got to run a plastic scraper on it sometimes to get it clean. And
Oh, yeah.
I think I'd
Yep.
rather
Yep.
clean some more glass. I did it for a
For
while. I
for
did it for
sure.
a few years, but that's the accessibility that's an issue. You say
Yeah.
yes to this person because it's got a lower house, and no to that person because you don't want to get up high. A lot of issues
Right.
like that. Now, with
Yeah.
a lot of homes in Michigan with shingles, do you do roof cleaning like is popular in the UK?
I'm sorry, I forgot about that side of the business. That's kind of a whole nother side of our business. So
Okay.
yeah, so we do roof cleaning, soft washing, power washing,
Yeah.
concrete, siding, asphalt shingles, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we have about four or five guys that do that right now, and that's all they do for the whole April through November. They do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. So it's quite an extensive program. So
yeah.
I'm thinking about, there are a lot of window cleaners who have to face the winter,
Hmm.
and winter can be quite challenging. Things close down. What would be your top three tips for someone who has a window cleaning business? It might not be as large as yours, might be quite small. How do they prepare for winter, and what do they do through winter to try and keep their business sustained?
Yeah, yeah. Because even if you want to shut things down in the wintertime, you still have expenses, right? You still have insurance. Maybe you have a truck payment. Maybe you're paying for an office or something like that. So it's really, essential that you plan for the winter time. And you can start small, right? Like start with like what we did. You can start just shoveling people's sidewalks, shoveling roofs if you're comfortable on roofs, which most window cleaners totally are, and you can start that way, and then just plan for eventually getting into maybe some plowing, or snow blowing or something like that. In northern Michigan, the great thing is every homeowner up here, not every, but a lot of them have snow blowers. So if you're a window cleaner and you're washing your own windows, you probably have a snow blower in your house too. So you can just offer that to other people to snow blow their driveway. You can just start small like that, and then before you know it, you can just add more services. Get a plow, and you can do whole subdivisions, do driveways, do parking lots, that kind of thing, um, and just slowly grow that. So that we've always been into that too, not jumping in, head first, buying. We've never been a company that just buys greatest and best equipment right out of the gates, go into a ton of debt or anything like that. We've always started real slow, and as the business grew, then we purchased more equipment as we needed it.
So it just allowed a natural evolution and natural growth rather than, yeah, a massive investment and wondering how we're going to make some money now to pay that back.
Exactly. Because I mean, if you buy a brand new snowplow truck, you're going to be $70,000, $80,000 in, and you're plowing driveways around here. We're getting about $35 to $50 a driveway, so that's a lot of money. That's a lot of driveways to make up that money with
Yeah.
just one truck. So
Yeah. Yeah. I wondered how do you, for someone brand new in that, how would you work out the pricing? So that would be, you'd have to really think about that carefully. I guess shoveling off someone's roof, you'd have to think about a little bit of what I call danger money,
hmm
making
I
sure that
like
you're
that.
pricing accordingly. Yes. So looking back at your 20 plus years in the game, if a brand new window cleaner came up to you to get some advice, what would be your top three tips?
Oh boy, top three tips. Number one, you got to work hard. Um, the I think sometimes people see what happens in our area is you can make a ton of money in 2 3 months. So we see all these window cleaners come, and they come in one season, and then they're making all this money, and then all of a sudden they're not making anything after that, right? So you have to work hard through the whole season. Even if you stop, if you're not doing snow removal in the wintertime like we do, you just have to start planning for the next season. Do the social media, do your marketing, do all that kind of stuff the best you can. I think that would be my best. And then the second, I would say get your systems in order. Even if you're a small company, you still have to lay out your systems, and you have to, in essence, maybe divide yourself into a general manager, an operations manager, a secretary, right? And then as soon as you get those systems in place and you get big enough, then you can start to hire those systems out. And then I would say my third biggest thing is don't be afraid to fire somebody. So
Hey,
I think that was that was our biggest mistake.
that's a hard one, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So do you mean
That was
firing a customer or firing an employee?
I would say both. I would say both. Yeah. So don't be afraid to fire a customer if they are just a real pain. No pun intended there, but it's just you don't want to work for them any longer. If they're gonna give you grief, if they're gonna try and get you down in price, we find those customers tend to be the worst, and they are just going to be a problem. And then employees too. I used to have the motto where I could train anybody and I could get anybody up to speed, but that's not the facts. So we hire, like this year. I think we hired about 12 people. We fired 4 people already this year, and that's not because we're mean or we're cruel people as a company, but it's just because they didn't meet the standards that we have,
Yeah.
and those standards are very clear when they're hired. So if they don't meet those standards, then it drags the whole company down and drags the whole team down as we're trying to work.
How did they take it being fired?
So this is the great thing about the size company that we're at right now. I actually don't have to do the firing. So from my standpoint, they take it fine. But that is the great separation too. Is I do the hiring, I do a lot of that. But as soon as they're hired in, then they're under the management staff of the operations, and the general manager. So if they see fit that he's not working out or this individual's not working out, then they make that call themselves, and they can fire that person if they want. People typically are pretty understanding when it comes to it, because they know.
Yeah.
We have our principles that we live by, and they know those principles,
Yeah.
and they understand. So
Yeah.
we've seen a couple guys that we fire. They still wear our gear too. They'll still wear our 2 glass gents sweatshirts and our hats, and we kind of chuckle as we see them in town. But
Yeah.
so
They didn't go away and burn them.
I guess not. I guess not.
That's a bonus. Yes. And I think that's the clear aspect. Going back to the point on boundaries, you set the clear standards of what's expected. And
Yeah,
some people are uncomfortable to live by high standards. So
right.
when it comes time to make a decision on that, then that they know deep down that they didn't fit the mold that was required at this
Exactly.
company. And it doesn't mean that they're
Exactly.
not capable. It's just that they don't fit what was required here. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
and hey, it's your business, it's your right to set those standards. It's
Right. Right. Yeah. It's
absolutely. Yeah. So how do you at what point, like going back to the firing customers, see there'll be some window cleaners who go, yeah, but they they're a good priced, like they've got a job that is really a good job, but they're just a pain, they're difficult. How do you determine, okay, no, we're done with this customer? Is it just that they like a late payer, or is it other things?
No, I would say number one reason why we fire customers is disrespect for our employees.
Okay.
We're we're extremely big on that. For instance, there was this woman that was working with us, and she's from the Dominican Republic, and she was working with another individual that he was from Mexico, and they were speaking Spanish in the house. And this client, ex-client now, decided, she said, she went up to him and said, "You only speak English in this house." And it hurt this woman's feelings, our employee's feelings, and she called me, in tears, and she said, we weren't talking about her or anything like that. We were just, talking because we don't get to talk Spanish up north because everybody only speaks English up here.
Yeah.
So that was a huge disrespect. And so, yeah, I called the woman and I said, "Hey, like, I just want you to know that, these people, they're good people, they're trustworthy. And the way that you treated them, we're no longer going to do your window cleaning for you." And she apologized up and down and said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it like that, yada, yada, yada." And I said, "That's okay. That's fine. But I think it would just be better if you went with another window cleaning service." So,
Yeah.
and that goes really far with your employees too, right? Because your employees are there in the field, they're the face of the company, and they want to know that you have their back. So
Yeah.
that's really important.
That's right. Yes, that you're not just interested in the money that person's going to provide you. That you're looking at the welfare of the employee. Do
Yeah,
you sometimes sense when you're doing the quoting of the job that this client is going to be difficult?
yeah.
Do you fire them then?
Yeah, yeah. You triple the price, and then
That's
that
right.
way, if they go with it, then you're like, okay, well, maybe this person is going to be worth me going through the hassle of everything I have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you get a sense, right, of when you're there and they're talking about this and talking about that, and they're trying to figure out every tiny little bit of what you're going to charge and everything like that. Then
Yeah.
you get that idea real quick, and you just
Yeah.
say,
Sure.
just
And
gonna cut my losses here.
that's part of the learning process as we grow in our businesses to start to discern that this person is going to be really difficult when they walk around and discuss things with you on the quote. And I've often just said, sorry, our business is not equipped to provide the service for you.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
going to decline the opportunity to quote. And
Yeah.
that's it. You can say it very nicely, and then that's the end of the relationship because we don't need that angst in our life. Life's tough enough without those things, and especially when we've got the added aspect of employees and their
Yeah.
actions. So well done. That's very good. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
any further thoughts on the window cleaning industry as a whole? Where do you think it's going? Do you think there's been too much emphasis on new tech, new technology, on new tools, or do you think it's a good thing?
I think there's a lot of like gimmicky stuff out there,
Hmm.
things that are just, not good. Um,
Go on,
But I love.
tell me your favorite gimmicky tool.
Oh man, my favorite gimmicky tool. I think my favorite gimmicky tool is the rag clip that you hang on your belt.
That does not work.
Like I like what's this little clip for? Just one rag, and I don't know about you, but when I wash a window by hand, I'm inside a house. I've got four rags on
Yeah,
me. I got a
yeah.
dirty rag, I got a clean rag, and I'm going like this. I don't have time to sit there and re-clip my rag on this little clip. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
that's a
pretty
funny
funny.
one. Yeah, I went and bought the Maker little Velcro T-bar that you can wrap a cloth around to detail the corners, and I used it for a few weeks, and it's now sitting in the van. So there's a few things like that. But
Oh
overall,
yeah.
the progress in the technology. It's interesting that after 30 years, I started with Ettore brass, traditional
Oh yeah.
squeegee, and I've tried so many squeegees over the years, and I'm now back to Ettore stainless.
Yeah.
90 years that product's been around, and so many of us
It
just go
still
back to
works.
that.
Yeah, and that's what we use. So when we train our guys, we use that array. We use the brass still, and we use the ledgies handle.
Yeah,
Make it
that's
a
what
little
I've got.
easier.
Yeah, I love that one.
And a buddy of mine, actually my business partner, he came in with us last year. We merged companies together, and he came into the office the other day and he picked one up. He goes, "What is this thing? An antique in here?" And it's true. It is an antique, but it works great. It's a great product.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've got Ungers and wagtails and in my van, but I love that Ledgie's handle on the stainless.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's fascinating. Well, Blaze, it's been fascinating chatting with you, and I've been constantly intrigued about how window cleaners in the northern hemisphere above, I guess a certain latitude parallel what they have to deal with. Um,
yeah,
but it's a matter of not being disillusioned by this is my lot in life. Yeah, sure, this is my lot in life. Go and do something about it. Go and do some other services. Find a way. So,
yeah,
and I love the comment you made. You still have to do marketing through winter because you're
yeah.
prepping for summer. You want to keep it forefront in people's minds. So very important. So thank you for joining us here on the Window Pro podcast, Blaize. All the best with your business over there, and
Awesome.
look forward to chatting with you again sometime.
Thank you, Duncan, for having me. Appreciate it.
So thanks for listening today. If you're looking to free up your time and just run your business more efficiently, check out Squeegee app. It's the tool that I use every day to run my window cleaning business here in Australia, McRae's Window Cleaning. In the show description below, you'll find a discount code that will give you the first 12 months a discounted rate on using Squeegee app. So check it out, Squeegee app. It's the smarter way to run your window cleaning business.